Good evening, my name is Sade Sullivan, and this is my persuasive speech on how you should legalize marijuana. Okay? And my job here is to inform you guys and to persuade you guys to vote yes for marijuana. Many people use it, and it being the marijuana, for a lot of reasons. Your friends do it, your older brother or sisters may do it, and nobody has the intention to incriminate themselves. And it's also a huge part of culture, and no matter how anyone feels, it's here to stay. And I go to many social events and parties especially, and at parties around me, a lot of people use it. So the government there clearly lost the war on drugs, and I believe that it should be legalized due to the expenses that could be made by taxing it. And the government wastes a lot of resources trying to illegalize it. The former governor of New Mexico said that the city alone wastes $25 billion trying to regulate the marijuana. The government also creates war on the black market, and once you make it illegal amongst society, people go to underground and start to try to get it there and fight for it there. And in 2010, there were over 10,000 deaths related to the drug cartel. And not only that, but the drug cartel makes over 60% of their profit in the United States. So there you can see who's really profiting, and it's clearly not us. And people shouldn't be allowed to people should not be allowed to come from foreign countries and basically profit off of what we could be making. The police also waste their time on petty thefts when they could be stopping real threats such as terrorism and other gang-related violences as well. But they always try to catch minority groups, mostly with bags of weed or blunts, when people are like having fun, or joints, whatever you want to call them. And going back to culture, the first marijuana hemp law was passed in 1619 in Virginia, and that would be in the Jamestown colony. The law stated that each farmer must grow their own fair share of hemp. So it's basically saying everyone should have their own weed. Like, don't come to my farm and ask me for my weed, because the answer is no. And if it started there, then I don't understand why it can't continue in society today. Thomas Jefferson also said, "Some of my finest hours have been spent on my back veranda, smoking hemp and observing as far as my eye can see." So if Thomas Jefferson was the first president of the United States, no, not the first president, sorry. If Thomas Jefferson was the president of the United States and smoked weed as well in the privacy of his own home, it shouldn't be a problem for American adults or people in America to smoke in the privacy and comfort of their own homes as well. In ancient Greece, the ancient Greeks cultivated hemp plants, and they grew thick and tall, and Herodotus referred to cannabis eating and inhaling events, and he also said that they used to throw cannabis on a fire and inhale the fumes and inhale the vapor as well, and would shout in ecstasy. So clearly people in ancient Greece were enjoying fumes. So inhaling fumes to your body is more dangerous than anything. So if ancient Greece could do it, we could do it as well. And also, it became illegal due to health scares, and that leads me to talk about my next point, which is the health scares. In 1974, doctors conducted a study where monkeys were given an equivalent of 30 joints, and one group was given none. The monkeys, who obviously smoked the 30 L's, they died. The smoking groups were found to have had a large amount of dead brain cells, and the monkeys who didn't smoke, obviously were fine. But is something wrong with the study because they are monkeys, and if I gave a monkey one blunt, they would die. So weed is clearly not for animals. And 6 years later, the results were skewed, and the real results came out. They found out that the doctors forced the monkeys to be constricted and wear gas masks, and were actually given about 60 Colombian strength joints or blunts, or J's, whatever you want to call them. And in other words, they would have died regardless due to the restriction, because brain cells need oxygen, and no oxygen was given. The monkeys weren't given a chance to have any oxygen allowed into the system. Judge Francis Young of the DEA states that marijuana in its natural form is one of the safest, most therapeutic, and active substances known to man. So if a judge who went through the penal system and all these years of school says that it's okay to smoke weed, then I don't understand what the problem is. Finally, in Colorado, they make close to about $184 million in revenue by taxing their marijuana, recreational use, and medicinal use. So this money that they make goes to new schools and new things in the education program, and something that is deemed to be bad is actually helping the children get that new textbook or get new uniforms in their program or new playgrounds. So it's really cool that they're actually able to use a drug to help someone further progress in their education. If New York City did that, there would definitely be better numbers in terms of people attending schools and finishing, because nobody wants to go to a crappy school who doesn't have the resources they need to learn or get the type of education that they want, because they do go to school for a reason. And there will also be more money, and more money makes the world go round, and Colorado goes round. They're using their money for good things, and as opposed to us, we don't know what we're using our money for. And more money means more resources, and we don't have that. We don't have a lot of that. Colorado does. So I believe that the government is doing things backwards, and I think that everyone should think twice and before they vote no to legalizing marijuana. Thank you.